Okay, good afternoon. Right, so first we will go through the 2023 paper. So then we will move on to our next, one of the topic also. Okay, right. So you have 40 questions and only one correct answer in that year, but it can change from year to year. Okay, last year only one correct answer. Right, so we'll quickly go through. Uh, which of the following is correct regarding Java programming language? It derives its syntax from C language. Yes, pretty much. Right? Pretty much C and C++. It is platform specific. No, it's platform independent. You can run it anywhere once you compile the code. The output of the Java compiler is executable code. No, it is a class file which must be again interpreted by the Java runtime environment. So if you have understood the concepts, so you must be really confident about these answers now. Java applet is a small program that executes on the server. So applets I have not done yet, but just remember applet is something running in the client, not the server. And of course, the applets are no longer supported by browsers. That's a different story. I don't know why they're asking still about Java applets, but anyway, it's wrong because it's not run on server. It's run on clients. Characters of Java are inherited from Python programming language. So there's nothing like that. Python and Java pretty much evolved parallelly. Actually, Java evolved a little bit earlier than Python. Anyway, only one answer is correct. So therefore, you don't need to check each and every as well if you are running out of time. But better to check, okay, because there can be a better answer. So the answer is A. B, right? Second one, let's do faster. Which of the following indicates the correct statement regarding top-down development? Top-down development means first we look at the big picture, then you modularize it, right? Modularize it, and if it is still complex, you further divide it. So that is called top-down approach. Top-down approach. So usually designing can be done that way, but programming is mostly bottom-up. Okay, but designing is pretty much top-down in most of the time. Right, modular design is connected directly to the top-down development. Yes, modular design means you break it into further modules, further modules. And I will say yes, but let's see whether there are better answers. Okay. Data-driven programming is based on structured top-down approach. Not really, right? Data-driven is pretty much bottom-up approach where we think from the data perspectives, that is application perspectives, and come up. I would say no. Usually, if there's only one answer, if others' answers must be wrong as well. But anyway, I'm double check. Maybe I made a mistake here. It starts with low-level modules and progressively form high-level system. No, that is bottom-up. Testing and debugging is typically delayed until the entire system is implemented. No, that is a very bad thing. While you do coding, you must do the unit testing and so on, because that is the best practice. Find your issues early as possible. No. Detailed implementation of individual functions begins without considering the overall system design. So that is again bottom-up approach. Okay, bottom-up. So this one is top-down. So answer is definitely third one. Which of the following statements is are correct regarding type conversions? Remember casting, implicit casting and explicit casting. And also type conversions are related to something like boxing, right? Auto boxing, unboxing. Int can be assigned to byte by casting the integer type to byte. So first of all, I hope int means simple int, right? Because spelling is wrong anyway. Data type, it must be simple int, though it's a beginning of the sentence. I hope this is simple int type. Can be assigned to byte, casting the target type to byte. Actually, you don't need to do that. Yes, we need to do that because this is bigger type, this is smaller type. So if you are converting bigger type to a smaller type, uh, you need to cast it, right? You need to cast it to the smaller type, which is byte. But I assume that This is a spelling mistake. Okay. I don't know. I hope this is a spelling mistake. There are automatic conversions from numeric type to Boolean. No. Right? Automatically your numeric type doesn't convert to Boolean in Java. Okay. So you can't assign something like Boolean A equal 5. There are some languages that is allowed. I don't think it is allowed in Java. Right? I say no. Automatic type conversion will occur if the destination type is larger than source type. If the destination type, so that is source type is this one, destination type is this one. So this you want to convert to this, right? Automatic type conversion, that is auto casting, implicit casting will occur only if destination type is larger. Yes, when this is bigger and this is smaller, this is always capable of keeping that value, right? Because this is larger, so therefore automatic type casting happen, right? So only 3 is also answer. That is if this is something the examiner has intendedly done, but as I will assume this is a typing mistake, so then I will take 1 and 3. So 1 and 3 is also there. I'll go for D, assuming this is typing mistake. Okay, printing mistake. I'll go for D. Right. So examiner has given marks for both B and D. That is sensible because examiner has accepted that this is a typing mistake. So therefore, examiner has given marks to 3 only also. And those who thought about this as a typing mistake and got both 1 and 3, examiner has given marks to those also. That means the examiner is very sensible person. Some examiners are not like that. So they just don't care about those things. Okay. But it looks like a sensible answer. Okay. So it's not that the both are correct because of possibly this typing issue. Right. Which of the following can be valid identifier in Java? Identifiers are used to give name a class, method, variables, enums, and so on. Okay. Right. So you can't have spaces, cannot start with number, hyphen is not allowed, only underscore allowed. Special characters are not allowed. This is fine. Answer is C. Fifth one, if A equal to B equal 3 are in a Java program, what would be the value A and B, A or B? So this is bitwise and bitwise O. So therefore you need to convert this to integer. 2 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. 3 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay, I just took it as 1 byte. So then when you do AND, this is 0, this is 1. So that means it must be still 2. Okay. So then it must be 2. Next one is O. Then this is 1, this is 1, then it must be 3. 1, 1 is 3. Right? I'll go for D. D. Sixth one. Consider the following code written in Java. Which one of the following indicates the correct output of the above code? Right? Correct output. Hello world, that is valid. Int a str last index of simple low. That is the last index from the left. Okay. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the last index. So therefore the last index where you have, sorry, O, right? Not L, O. So that is this one. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the last index. So therefore I'll go for 7. Okay, so then you print A. Right, I'll go for C. Yes, it is C. 7. Match each of the flowchart symbol. Let me make it smaller. Right, match each of the flowchart symbols with correct description. Right, so you just need to map it. So this is input to output. Represent decision point where question is asked. So that is this. Represent an input to output process. Okay, this is like a kid's paper. Represent the starting or stopping. Yes, start or end. So the answer is 1B 2A answer. 1B 2A. So answer is D. Right. 7 answer is D. D. Eighth one. I don't see any reason why someone can fail this. If you fail this paper, right, you should not be in BIT. Right, you must go and do something else. Simple as that. This is that is actually for me. This is below standard paper. Okay. I expect your BIT programming papers to be more challenging than this. So if you feel like this subject is difficult, so don't do IT. Which of the following statements these are correct regarding repetition control structure? Repetition loops. The do while loop is an example of leading decision loop. Leading means you take the decision at the beginning. You can clearly see it's do while. Do while. So therefore, it's not leading, it's trailing, right? Trail at the end. So I say no. Repeat until you're also doing the same thing, but now as long as the condition is false, you do it. Trailing decision loop. Yes, it's a trailing because condition is checked at the end, just like do while. Yes, it is a trailing. You know what is a trailer is, right? Tractor එකක් trailer එකක් තියෙන්නේ. Counted repetition, that is for loops, occurs when the exact number of loop iterations is known in advance. Yes, actually, counted repetition is not uh, given in Java. Counted repetition is something like some programming languages support counted repetition, like Python, like 1 to 10, I equal 1 to 10, rather than giving a condition. Okay. But anyway, so counted repetition can be done. This is not a Java question, this is a pseudocode question. Counted repetition can be done when you know exactly how many times you are going to do it. I'll say yes. I don't know the examiner's interpretation. That is what my interpretation of counted repetition. The counted repetition means normal for loops without conditions, right? 1 to 10, 10 to 1. Right. I'll go for 2 and 3. I'll go for 8. I'll go for D. Right. Examiner has taken all. Okay. Why is that? That means A is correct. Right. E means 1, 2, 3. Anyway, examiner has taken 2 and 3. So why 1? Do while loop is an example of a leading decision loop. Do while. But while you check the condition at the end. Okay, so either my interpretation of trailing and leading is wrong or the answer is wrong. Okay, let's ask from ChatGPT. Because I may be wrong. That is do while, right? Is do while leading. Okay, the answer is trailing, right? No, answer is leading. Do while loop is an example of leading decision loop. Okay, volume को press करो. Because according to examiner, this is true. So it says do while loop is is not a leading decision loop, it's a trailing decision loop. Reason? The condition is checked after the body, so therefore it's trailing. So that means examiner's answer is wrong, right? I'm again double checking. Do while loop is an example of a leading. No, that is wrong. The answer should be 2 and 3 only, right? D. But here it says answer is C. So that is definitely answer is wrong. Okay. I don't know whether possibly they may have changed it. I don't know. But this should be after the comments. Okay. I don't know. By the way, once you face the exams, say within 1 week, they will publish the answers and ask you to give feedback. If you feel like the particular answer in the marking scheme, marking sheet is wrong, or you feel that something else is also answer, or some that is not the answer, you can give the feedback. They will give you an email address for each and every subject, different email address, and ask you to give the feedback. So then you need to use their specific format, like the subject ID, question number, and blah blah. You just write a small description. What is the question? What is your observation about the answer? That means, so you, if you feel like answer is not two, rather three, you can just say and give a very short explanation. So if they accept it, they will include that as answer. Okay. So basically, they start marking your answers after publishing the answer sheets. They will allow you to give the feedback about 1 week. Then only they will start marking. Okay. So therefore, use those opportunities. නේද? අර ආණ්ඩි හද දෙනා කැඳහැලියාවක සමහර හිතනවා මම ඕක කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ වෙන කවුරු හරි කියලා කරන්නේ මෙලෝ එකේ කියලා නැහැ. හරි? මෙලෝ එකේ ඊමේල් එකක් දාලා නැහැ. එතකොට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අනිත් එක කියපෙන්න බෑ. හරි? සමහරට මේකත් එහෙම වෙච්ච එකක්ද නැත්නම් මේක අහුවෙන්න දිනුනානේ. Right. Ninth one. Consider the following code written in Java. Which one of the following indicates the correct output of the above code? Right, so let's do it. So remember, char is a strange data type. Char can act like a char. At any time, it can convert to a numeric whole number type. Right, implicit casting happens. No explicit casting needed. Right, so therefore, so we discussed that under casting. So this is actually character one, not number one. So therefore, now character is it LO1? I hope it is 1. Okay. Then you are incrementing it by 1. Okay, incrementing it by 1. So that is, but then possibly it used the ASCII value. But I can't remember the ASCII value of L. Is it 1? Possibly this is 1, right? Okay, is it ASCII value of 1 is 1? Okay, because usually they should give the ASCII value. If it is alphabetical character, I'm not sure whether its ASCII value of 1 is 1. Let's assume ASCII value of 1 is 1. So then this is now 2. Then you print CH plus C equal 3. That is CH1 is now 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. So 5. So assuming ASCII value of 1 is 1 and assuming this is 1 not L, answer is 5. Okay. I don't think that this give compile errors or runtime errors because it can automatically convert to numbers. But I'm not very sure the ASCII value of 1 is 1 because I can't see any reason or any logic behind this. I'll go for C. Okay. Right. So now I have decided my answer. Now let's see whether the ASCII value of 1 is 1. Right. What is the ASCII value of character 1? Oh, that is 49. So that is then that this answer should not be correct, right? Unless there's a special reason. So then this answer cannot be correct. Then I don't see that there's a compile error. Maybe this one. Can't we do this? Anyway, let's see the answer. I have no idea about that then. Okay, so what is the answer? 9. C. Oh, anyway, answer is 5. Anyway, කනාවට හරි ගියා ඒක. But I don't know the reason, right? I thought this is converted to ASCII value. Okay, I'm interested in typing this code. Okay, let's take 1 minute and type this, copy paste this. So how comes ASCII value of 1 is 1? Because ASCII value is 40 or something, right? 49. So that is bracket issue. Oh, then there's compiler errors. So no, this should be still compile typing mistake. One, right? So no errors. Right, so let's run and see. I'm curious about that. Oh, answer is 5. How comes? So it looks like character 1 has cast 1. So usually it should cast using ASCII table, but it's doing something special. Anyone has an idea? Okay, so let's ask ChatGPT. Now explain the output of the above Java program. Okay, so how comes the character 1 is converted to 1? That is my question. The ASCII value of 1 is 49 in decimal, correct? Right, so that is how we also started. 49. Sorry, char ch1, the character I has the ASCII value 49. Okay, so it is initialized to 49. So that means our assumption is correct. Okay, then pre-increment it become 50. Then it become 53. ASCII value of 53 correspond to character 5. Are sadharana question right? So you can see why the answer is 5, because ASCII value of 53 is 5. So in order for you to do this, you must know that ASCII value of 53 is 5. Right? So let's double check whether is it ASCII value of 53 is 5. ASCII value of 53. Yes, it is 5. So this is Mangana question. So in order to do this question, you must know that, right? You must know that what is the ASCII value of 1, right? Which is 49. So then you must know that ASCII value of 49 plus 1 for 50, 53 is 5. So you must know two ASCII values. The maker and ASCII table ASCII table. So that is a very unfair question, right? Because they have not given you the ASCII table, right? So this is inhuman sort of a question, okay? මේ වගේ මනුස්සයෙක්ට නම් මේ question දෙන්න එපා ඔයගොල්ලෝ හරි ASCII table එක කටපාඩම් කරන්න කියලා. Right, anyway, let's go to the 10th question. That is very unfair question, okay? Is used to destroy unused objects and their memory is released for later relocation in Java. So that is usually garbage collection, right? Is used to destroy unused objects and their memory is released for later reallocation in Java. So that is called what? Garbage collection. Right? Garbage collection. And there's nothing called delete operator, disposal mechanism, free method. I don't think that these things are available. So I will go for D because that is Java is automatic garbage collection mechanism is there. Okay. Right. So let's go for the 10. Yes, D. Right. So a small note on how the Java behaves. In some languages like C, C++, you need to release the Java. Sorry, you need to release the memory, right? Explicitly. One of the reason why Java language was developed was in 1990s or latter part of 1980s because of the bug in Java, like C++ language, which create a lot of issues for memory leaks. So therefore, from the very beginning, when they developed Java language, they introduce automatic garbage collection. Automatic garbage collection means when you create objects, if no object is if no reference variable is referring to that object in a particular scope, that object is garbage collected. Not immediately, mark for garbage collection. From time to time, garbage collector thread runs, and if there's any unreferenced objects, those are released. Those memories release. So that is how it works. So that means programmer, they don't have to care about garbage collection because it's automatically happening. Okay. So that is why we call it Java used automatic garbage collection mechanism, right? That basically free programmers from thinking about memory leaks. Okay. But anyway, almost all the modern languages are using that, but Java started that. Right. So the answer is D. There is a little bit of additional information. 11. Consider the following piece of code written in Java. Which one of the following indicates the correct output of the code above segment? Right. So you just need to find the output, right? Right. So you have an int array, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For loop, it goes from 0 to less than the length. So length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Less than 5 means 0 to 4. So that means it goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it iterates each entire array. Okay. So what does it do? Numbers I plus C equal 3. So first statement is numbers 0 plus equal 3. So the second statement will be numbers 1 plus equal 3 and so on. Okay. So number 0 is number 0 plus equal 3. Numbers 1 is numbers 1 plus equal 3. Okay. So numbers 1 equal numbers 1 plus 3. Number 0 is number 0 plus 3. So therefore, when in the iteration, when I equal 2, numbers, there will be a statement numbers 2 equal numbers 2 plus 3. Okay, so numbers 2 is 3. Then numbers 2's new value will be 3 plus 3, which is 6. Right? So therefore, numbers 2 will be after execution, it will be 6. So basically, the after execution, the array will be having 0th element will be 4, second element will be 5, 6, 7, 8, because every element is incremented by 3. So therefore, I'll go for E. Answer is C. 12. Consider the following code which is written in Java. Which one of the following shows the output of the above code? Right. So no error message. Right. Int x equal 15, y equal 4. Say x equal 15, y equal 4. This cast to float. There is our last thing. First, you do this because there's a bracket. This is integer division because both are integers. Then 15 divided by 4 is 3 because it's an integer division. Both are integers. 3. Okay. So then you multiply it by 2. 2 is an integer literal. This is integer. So 3 into 2 is 6. Now you cast it to float. So then it will be 6.0 because you cast it to float. And then you assign it to a float variable and print. So therefore, I'll go for 6.0. Right? So therefore, 12 answer is E. Right? Simple question. Okay, if you know what is casting, what is integer division, and so on. When division is used with integers, it goes to integer division. There's no separate integer division operator. If at least one value is float or decimal, only decimal, otherwise integer division. Right. 13th. Which of the following indicates the correct output of the above code? Okay, correct output. In sum equals 0. So don't do these kind of questions upfront. Do these kind of questions at the end. Just mark it and do it at the end. Okay. මොකද මේ කරන්න කිව්වොත් මම නිදිමත ඇදෙනවා. Okay. අන්තිමට කරමු. මම මේක කරනවා බය වෙන්න එපා. හොඳේ අන්තිමට කරමු. අන්තිමට කරමු. මේක කරනකොට අනිත් question දාන්න කලින් නිින්ද යනවා. Right. So what about this? මේකත් අන්තිමට කරමු. theory questions ටික කරලා ඉවරලා ඔය program අස්සෙත් දුවමු. exam එකේ තේම කරන්නේ නැතවට නිදිමත වෙయ్యා. මම මේක නම් ටිකක් චූටි හඳ කරමු. මේක කරමු. What is the output? Compiler is also there. Int a equal 1, switch, yes, switch work for ordinal types like whole numbers and character. Case 2, case 1, default. Of course, a is 1, so therefore it will come to case 1. It will not go there. It will print B, but no break statement. So therefore it will come to the default also. And it will print C. So therefore output will be BC. Answer is D. 15 answer is D. Okay, so that is super simple. 16. Consider the following code segment written in Java. Which should be the most suitable data type for A? Type for A. Right, this is assign this to this data type variable for result. Char C equal simple A, byte B equal 42, double D equal this. You multiply C into D. C into D. So character can cast to number, whole number implicitly, because otherwise you can't multiply character with number. But whenever, if number work, it casts to up number. Okay. So therefore this can cast to an integer. Then when you multiply, you will get again whatever the number. Cast will happen using ASCII table. I can't remember what is the ASCII value of A. Okay. But anyway, they are not asking the value. They just ask the possible data type. So possible data type, I will say double. Because when you multiply integer by double, if you want to retain the decimal part, right? This is B, right? Sorry, this is B. This is C into B. Sorry. So then they are not using D, right? So then why they are using D? Anyway, D is not used, right? I don't know why is that? By the way, the C into B, B is byte, C is character. So C can act like a number. So then both will be integer values, whole number values. Possibly I will say, I will assign it to another byte. But A is a big number. ASCII value of A is, I think, somewhere 100 something. So when you multiply by 42, that will be beyond the range of byte, because byte can keep only 2 to the power 7 to 2 to the power 7 minus 1 to, sorry, minus 2 to the power 7 to 2 to the power 7 minus 1. That's 128 or something, okay? So therefore, I will not go for byte, because then this value is too much. Too much. So therefore, I'll go for something bigger data type, possibly int or long. Int or long, okay? Then which one I should select? Sometimes even short might work, but definitely not byte. No point going for char. Okay. So if I think short might be enough, because in short you have 2 bytes. So the best one I will go for short, because I hope short is enough for this. If I think about the memory also, but otherwise theoretically in short, long, I will go for any of these 3, but not byte, because byte is not enough for this calculation. By the way, it's a confusing question. I'll go for D. Let's hope. Examiner has taken int. So maybe examiner think that short is not enough when 42 is multiplied by the ASCII value of A. But I think, okay, I think short is enough because it's 2 byte. Okay. Most suitable data type. Actually, if short work, short is the most suitable. Okay. Anyway, examiner has taken it as int. Just type this code and put it short and see whether you get correct answer or the put short, put int and see whether you get the same answer. If you get the same answer without error, short is the best answer. Think in the memory. But if you get error or wrong value for short, then of course int is the best answer. Okay, so just try this and see whether I made a mistake or X7 has made a mistake. Okay. Copy කරන්න පුළුවන් බෑ. Copy කරන්න ගියම් පිස්සු හැදෙන හැබැයි යා. කල්ලම් බලමු ඉතින් නේද ආයෙමකට. Say this is int. Let's call it X. System out println. So they print C into B. Okay, again C into B, that is X. Okay, let's see what is the output here. That must be bracket issue. Okay. X. And now let's see the output. 4074. I think short should work. Let's say short. If short gives me a different value, then examiner is correct. Okay. I can't even assign that value. That is why examiner has not taken this. What is the reason why I can't multiply C and B and assign to short? Required type short. Okay, required type short. Maybe after multiplication, can't we assign it to a short? Yeah, maybe some weird reason. Okay. What happens if both are byte? Still you can't assign. So that means when you multiply byte, you can't assign to short. That should be the reason. But you can assign it to int. So that is a weird behavior. Okay. Sometimes the Java has some weird behaviors. So I don't know why you can't multiply 2 byte and assign it to short, but maybe that is how Java has been designed. Okay, and examiner is exploiting that strange behavior to give you a tricky question. Okay, anyway, don't worry about those questions. If I go to the exams, I will say, okay, examiner, you keep that marks. I don't care. Okay, I don't want to think about those very tricky scenarios. Right, next one. So that is also, I think, it's a very tricky scenario examiner is checking. 17. Which of the following is not a basic object-oriented programming concept facilitated in Java? So you can see by look of it, answer is C because all the others are object-oriented concepts. So I'll go for E. 18. Indicates how closely the elements of statements of modules are associated with each other. how closely the elements or statements of a module, that is cohesion. So good design must be highly cohesive, low coupling. Cohesion means arena. Cohesive can gumbled. So if there are highly related things in one module, that is good. That means you don't need to talk to other modules much. So the idea is your modules are self-contained. So they have related things. So that intermodular communication or coupling is less. So the best solution, best design for structured programming is high cohesion, low coupling. Right? Answer is C. Consider the following. Okay, there's a question. What is binding? Where do you have the word binding? This one. There's something called late binding, right? Early binding in programming. Uh, this is related to uh, polymorphism. In Java, your objects are for Java use late binding. Late binding. Okay, so of course, to explain it, it will take a little bit of time. For example, you can write something like this in Java. Say I have class hierarchy, animal, dog, cat. Right? I can write something like this. Animal, of course, you know that we can write like this. As long as this inheritance is there, animal A equal new dog. Of course, you can bind a dog object to animal supertype because it is at runtime, it knows that dog is animal. So that is called late binding. So late binding facilitate dynamic polymorphism. Okay. So some languages, they do not support like that. So they need sort of a early binding. Okay. Again, so I'm not going to explain it because it takes more time. If you're interested, go to Google Chat GPT. Of course, ask this question if you are really, really, really serious about your object-oriented programming. Okay. Explain early binding versus late binding in OOP. It will give you more details, okay? And also we can go to YouTube if you are really interested. Okay. That is called static binding. Okay. So that is something like method overloading. But by look of the code, you can say. Okay. By look of the code, you can say. But dynamic binding is more related to polymorphism. Okay. More related to, you can see child parent. So you can see parent, you are creating a child object, but assigned to the parent reference variable. So that is what I did as create a dog object and assign it to the animal reference variable. So that is called uh, late binding or dynamic polymorphism or runtime polymorphism. Okay. So runtime polymorphism is the serious stuff that facilitate creating frameworks and so on. So method overloading is kid stuff. So it's because some students think that the polymorphism is method overloading. So that is kids object-oriented programming. So serious software developers, software engineers, it is this that facilitate polymorphism, creating frameworks. Okay. Anyway, if you are interested, so I explained this in the class. Okay. Right. So next question. So here answer is cohesion. Okay. 18E. Let's double check the answer again. Yes, C. Right. So let's move to 19th question. It's a three-dimensional array. Okay, so you can clearly see it's a three-dimensional array, not two. So therefore, it's a tricky one because it's very difficult to visualize three-dimensional thing. Okay, so I hope this is my right. So this is one pair. This is another pair. Okay, and inside that you have this and this, maybe something like this. Okay, so that is a tricky one. Okay, so if you are good at visualizing things in 3D, you are in now good business. So is it something like this? Say x, or let's say x, y, and z. No, usually we go from top to bottom, right? In the arrays. Okay, so let's say this is my x, maybe y, and z. Right, so how do you visualize this? So maybe this is 0, this is 1, whatever the dimension. So therefore, it must be one of these, not one of these. Then this is 0, then this is 0, 0, 0, 1. This is 0, 1. So if this is my 0, this is 0, 0, this is 0, 1. And 0, 1, this is 0, this is 1. But this is 0, so therefore 0, this is 0, this is 1. Then 0, 1, and its next level, this is 0, this is 1. 0, 1, 0 must be then 3. Right? I'll go for B. Okay. So rather than just drawing like this, I just visualize somehow. So because this is 0, whatever the first dimension, this is 0 and first in second dimension. So therefore, this is 0, 1, and this is third dimension, 0 and 1. And we need 0 then. So therefore, I'll go for 3. Right? 19, I'll go for B. Yes, B. Okay, so I hope you got it. Right. 20. What is the most suitable response that represent this keyword in Java? So this refer to current object. This. Remember in encapsulation, no. Java beans, we refer to this dot x. So this can refer to its own instance variables. This can refer to your own object and so on. Okay. Right. So there's a request to explain question 19 again. So remember, this is 3-dimensional array. Right. In 2-dimensional array, say something like this. Okay. Say this is 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So therefore, this is 0, 2, 0, 2. Okay. So how do you write it? Say 1, 2, 3, maybe 3, 1. So 4, 5, 6, and so on. But this is, so therefore, this is your 0th element, first element. Like this is 0, this is 1. And then 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. This is 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. But now you can see there's a third curly bracket. So therefore, this is also another element. Right? You can see. So that is the third element. So therefore, this one is 0, 0, 0. This one is 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2. And this is 1, 0, second element. So therefore, I took this as the first dimension, these as second dimensions, and individual elements as the third dimension. So therefore, what we need is 0, then 1, second dimension 1 is this, its 0th element, because this is its first element. So 0, 1, 0 element is this. If someone asks what is 1, 0, 1, this is 1, this is its 0, and individually this is 0, 1. So this is 1, 0, 1. And this one is again 0, 1. Sorry, 0, 1, and this is 1. So this is 1, 1, 0. This is 1, 1, 1. Okay, so that is how we'll do it. Okay, so it's confusing at first, but you need to think a little bit. harder, right? Because it's a three-dimensional thing. Okay. Right. So 20th, what is the answer? Refer to external object of the same package, not at all. Represent the return value, no. Use the inside of any method to refer to current class. Current class. Oh, I don't think so. But let's keep it. Always a reference to the state on which method was invoked. What is that? Use a reference to an object of a current class is permitted. Okay, what is this? I think the explanation is little bit confusing. Use the inside. What it mean by use the inside of any method? Bit of English grammar is also not very sure about this grammar. Use the inside of any, or maybe use inside of any method to refer to the current class. Yes, inside the method you can say this dot, but current classes instance variables. That is why I'm a little bit worried about this. But other than that, this looks okay. Use as a reference to an object of the current class is permitted. Use as a reference to an object of the current class. I don't think so because it looks very confusing terms. Always a reference to the state on which the method was invoked. That also doesn't make much sense to me, though this doesn't look very specific, but I feel like this is the one that at least goes somewhere near the definition of this. By the way, this wording is really confusing. But anyway, we need to settle for answer. I feel like the most probable one might be C. Right? Most probable one might be C, though C does not look very specific, but I will go for C. Okay. Yes, C. I think examiner has given marks to everyone. 20. Consider other one of the given answers, either one option or other, not both. What is that? What is that means? So for the 20, no, 20th, 36, 39, 33, lot of questions are like that. Right, even 21. Consider either one of the given answers are right. Either this one or that one. Or both, not both. So that means if you have answered C or E, but not both, you get the full marks. That means those who mark C, you get marks. Those who mark E, you get marks. Of course, if you mark anything else, you don't get. At the same time, if you mark both, still you don't get marks because this MCQ paper, it says only one answer is correct. So I think the examiner is fair. Because of the confusion, examiner has given marks to those who mark C, mark E, but don't mark multiple. Okay. So C, E both are considered valid. Okay. So I mark C anyway. Okay. So I told you these three are somewhat related. So examiner has given marks to C as well as C. Okay. Anyway, I mark C. Okay. Right, 21. I think ChatGPT will give you an even better answer. Okay. What? Okay. Briefly explain what දිග හැලී ඕන නැත්නම් කියන්න කෙටියෙන් කියන්න කියලා. හරි. Briefly explain the use of this keyword in Java. Okay. මම දන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ChatGPT එක නිතර කතා කරන්න හරි. හරි මෝඩියොත් එක්ක කතා කරනකොට කොච්චරද බුද්ධිමත් කෙනෙක් එක්ක කතා කරන්නේ නේද? So this keyword in Java is reference to current object. Remember the current object, not the current class. It is used to various scenarios, blah, blah, blah. You can see reference in the instance variable. මතක නේද අපි this dot කියලා කිව්වේ අර නැත්නම් parameter එක පැටලෙන හන්ද? You can see exact example. So this dot num means this one. This num means method, parameter. So that is what I mentioned about Java beans. Right? Calling other constructors. Yes, that is another usage. Yes, I forget about that usage. Right? Passing current object as argument. So you want to send the same object as an argument to a method. Right? And returning the current object. That is sort of advanced use anyway. Okay. Right. So I hope now you have better understanding. By the way, this explanation is not a very good one. Okay. So it says current class. That is why I was reluctant to use this as answer. It should be referred to the current object. Okay. Current object or current objects instance variables. Right. 21. Right. We discussed string manipulation in the last class. Okay. Right. String color, void start, start in the car, public class car object. That is a different class. It looks like it's a this is the end of the method. This is the end of the class. So yeah, this is a different class in the same thing. You have the main method. Car object is created. Then you set the color property to blue. That is fine. Then you call the start method. That is also fine. Which one of the following indicates a method, an object, a state of the above code segment? Right. That is super easy. Method, not car. Start is correct. Okay. Then object. My car is object. My car is object. Then state. State is color, not blue. Blue is the value of the state. So state is color. State are instance variables. Right? So therefore, definitely answer must be B. Right? 21B. Right. So the examiner has given marks to B as well as D. By the way, examiner, I think examiner is a little bit relaxing marks for because this should not be given marks anyway. The blue is not a state. A blue is a value of the state. But anyway, examiner has given marks for those who give D also. Okay. But not both. If you mark B or D, but the perfect answer is B. Okay. To disallow a method from being overridden. So if you don't want to override a method, you may mark that method as final. Simple as that. We discussed that. Okay. 22C. 23. So if you want your class to be not to subclass, make it final class. If you want your method not to overridden, make it final. Which of the following statements these are correct regarding method overloading? Method overloading means having more than one methods with same methods name but different signature. Signature includes return type and parameters, but you can't change only the return type, right? But you can change number of parameters or data type of the parameters. While you do those, you can do the return type change also, but you can't change only the return type. Right. Overloaded methods can have different access modifiers. Okay, that is a tricky one. Can they have different access modifiers? So that is something I have never thought of. Let's keep that open. Overloading methods require all methods to have the same return type. Of course, you can change the return type, but when you change the return type, you need to change at least one of the parameters. That means you can't change only the return type. Right? It says all methods will have the same return type. No. I will say no. I don't know what examiner says. I'm pretty sure no, because return type can change. But only rule is you can't change only the return type. But this is something else. So this says all methods to have the same return type. No. Methods can have different return type. It allows a class to have multiple methods with the same name, but different parameters, correct? Different parameters and optionally different return type. So now I am not very sure about first one. So therefore I'll be a little bit strategic now. I will not take any answer having second two. Okay. So therefore I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. And now I'm looking for answers with three. Okay, three. So this one has the answer. So this one also having 2, therefore I'll get rid of this one also. So I'm looking for answer 3 because I'm pretty sure 3 is correct. So now, though I have no idea about 1, I have isolated. But anyway, 1 only can't be the answer because 3 is the answer. හැබැයි තියෙන සීමිත සම්පත් වලින් ප්‍රයෝජන ගන්න හදන්නේ. මට හිතෙනවා දැන් නම් මට වැඩේ සෑහෙන ෂුවර් උත්තරේ C කියලා. බලමු උත්තරේ හරිද කියලා. Yes. ඒකට තේරෙනවද මම ඇත්තට මේ උත්තරේ හරිද වැරදිද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් ඒකේ මට කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් උනේ නැහැ. අනිත් දේවකෙන් මට උත්තරේ කොටු කරගත්තා කොහොමද? හරි උත්තරේ කොටු කරගත්තා. මම මේක නැහැ කියලා දුක්ුණේවත් මුකුත් නැහැ. හරියටම කොටු වුණා උත්තරේ. හරි කොටු වුණා. So be strategic. Right? Be strategic. Right, 24. That means this is wrong. Right, 1 and 3 only කියන්නේ මේක incorrect වෙන්න ඕන. ඒ කියනවා the overloading methods can have different access modifiers කියන එක වැරදි කියන්නේ. So that means when you overload methods, you must have the same access modifier. And private නම් දිගටම private වෙන්න ඕන. You can't change it to other methods. Access modifier to something else, but I really doubt that anyway. I thought possibly we can change the access modifier. Okay, method overloading. Right? මම හිතනවා method overloading කරද්දී access modifier change කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. මට තාමත් හිතෙන්නේ පුළුවන් කියලා හැබැයි හරි. According to my object oriented software development knowledge, maybe I'm wrong. අපි නිකමට chat GPT එකෙන් කාලා බලමු. මට හිතෙන්නේ මේක හරි කියලා. Maybe I'm wrong. Right. Say in Java, because this is related to Java, method overloading can we use or can we change can we have different access modifiers? My gut feeling says we can, but examiner says no. ඔය බලමු කවුද හරි කියලා සමහර examiner හරියට. So it says yes. Right? Methods can have different access modifiers, even though when you do overloading. So basically, me and ChatGPT is in the same argument against the examiner. Okay, examiner. Okay. Since overloading is resolved at compiler time based on method signatures, access modifiers can vary between overloaded methods. So this they have given you an example. So this one is private, this one is protected. You can see. Of course, method signature is different. At the same time, they have changed the access modifier. Overloaded method can have different access. Somebody examiner, I think why the examiner has not taken this as wrong. So we must be fair to the examiner also. Maybe what the examiner means is you only change the access modifier, saying that this is overloaded. But anyway, then it is a poorly worded thing. So then they should have mentioned overloaded methods can have only a different access modifier. But this is different access modifier. So ChatGPT different access modifiers. But only thing is when you change the access modifier, you must change one of the parameter as well, right? Data type or number of parameters. So that is why I told you that one should not be an answer, right? But anyway, according to the examiner, anyway, let's not talk about that, okay? By the way, just remember, you can change the access modifier, but only thing is you can't only change the access modifier, just like you can't only change the return type. Right, 24. Which of the following statement is correct regarding encapsulation? It requires all methods to be declared as static. No, there's no such thing. It binds together code and the data and restrict outside interferences. Yes. It promotes modularity by exposing some of the implementation details. Of course, encapsulation is to hide the implementation details, not to expose. So definitely 2 only. B. 25. Consider the following code. T is written in Java. Integer array 1 2 3. Result is another numbers 2. What is that? All right, so you are taking the second element and assign it to result. Okay, so that is fine. Okay, so that means your result variable has 0 1 2 second element, that is 3. So result variable has 3 now. So I don't know why they put it into a try catch block, but it should be safe, because anyway numbers 2 is 0 1 2 is valid value, and it will be 3. So then you print A. Okay, you print A. So therefore, maybe the answer is about the output, yes. So therefore, it will print A. It doesn't go to the exception, but whether it's exception or no exception, it must go to the final. So therefore, now it will print C, because it's not print ln, it will be in the same line. So definitely output must be AC. So 25C. 26. Which one of the following doesn't indicate type wrapper in Java? So type wrapper means wrapper class. Character, long, float, integer. Answer is Boolean with simple B. D. In Java, the exception type automatically defined for the program to detect errors like division by zero is. So division by zero is more arithmetic exception. Okay, not a null point, not a socket that is related to network programming. That is invalid class casting. Pass exception is usually you pass something like XML passes. So it should be arithmetic, right? Because this division is related to arithmetic. At least you must use your common sense. 27 will go for B. 28. Which of the following statement is correct regarding strings in Java? String is a primitive data type in Java. No class. String is a class object type. String represent fixed length, mutable character sequence. No, right? So string is immutable. That is why every time you change it, it create another object. That is why it's wasting of memory. Right? Strings are immutable. That is why you need string buffer, string builder type classes. And also it is not fixed length. You can just say string x equal hi, and just 2 character. Then you can say x equal hello. Okay. So it's not fixed width. So I'd say no. And also it's not mutable. It's immutable. String buffer represent growable and writable character sequence. Of course, yes. Growable and writable. But anyway, this is also growable, okay? Growable, but it goes to a new memory location. I'll say 3 only. Okay. I don't know. It looks like a debatable one, but I hope answer is B. Yes. 29. Consider the following code segment written in Java. Which of the following exception types needed to be checked in the above code? Right. Numerator, denominator, you divide. So possibly here, there's a possibility of divide by 0. Yes, denominator is 0. You know that a number can't be divided by 0 because it gives you infinity. In Java language, you can't represent infinity. It's because infinity is not a number. So therefore, possibly, this is not a checked exception anyway. Possibly we should have catch, put it into a try catch block and catch in case this is 0. That is runtime exception, divide by 0 or something, sort of arithmetic exception, okay? So which exception type, not null point, not array index out of bound, that is related to accessing out of bound array elements. This is related to arithmetic, okay? So type is arithmetic exception. May not be the exact exception, they just say type of the exception. It's arithmetic exception. I'll go for C. Okay. Oh, examiner has taken E. E is 2 and 3. How comes array index out of bound? There's array. So I did not read beyond this. Okay. මම බලන්න මම අන්තිම line තුන කියෙව්වේ නෑ. ඒකයි වැරද්ද. මෙතන තව තැනක් තියෙනවානේ. So this is array. Index is 5. So therefore definitely this is array index out of bound exception. ඒක නම් ඒ exception එක වෙනවත් එක. මේ දෙකම වෙනවා ඇත්තටම. හරි. මෙතන 0 වෙනවා මෙතනත් වෙනවා. Actually, I did not look at this. I thought this is the only thing you need to look at. So that is my foolishness. Okay. My laziness. So yes. So there's a possibility of array index out of bound exception as well. Actually, it happens. Okay. So therefore, answer must be uh, 3 and 2. 2 and 3. CE. Okay. Right. Next one, 30. Method can use to extract a single character from a string. So that should be child or something. Right? Child. So given the index, you get the char. Right? D. So by the way, we discussed that last class. Okay, string buffers, string builders. Right. So we discussed enumeration also last time. Which of the following statements is correct regarding enumeration in Java? It is a list of name constants. Name constants. Sort of a yes. But yeah, one of the value you need to assign. Okay. Name const, but it's not a constant. Constant is basically static final variable. So enumeration is basically you define a new data type and possible values. Right? New data type and its possible values. So remember last time we did something like collar size or shirt size. Only allowed say small, medium, large, extra large. So therefore it's not constant. Constant is static final variable. I say no. It can have constructors, yes, methods, yes, and instance variables, yes. I did not explain those things because those are a little bit very rarely used concepts, but yes, those things can be there. Just make a note of that, okay? It can be used in a class rather than limiting to a variable. What is that? It can be used in classes. Okay, it can be used in classes rather than limiting to a variable. I don't know what is it. English there in it. It can be used in a class. Used in classes. Of course, we can use it in classes rather than limiting to a variable. මේක මට කියන දේ තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ අතන මේක මට කියන දේ තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒක ලියපු එක්කන හරිය ලියන නැහැ now මම දැන් අර කලින් ස්ට්‍රැටජි එකට යනවා ඒක හන්දා I'll not take anything with 1 හැබැයි දැන් මගේ උත්තර වැරදි නම් මේ කොහොමද වරදින හැබැයි then I'm looking for answer with 2 දෙකේම 2 තියෙනවා දැන් මම ආයෙ හිර වෙනවා හැබැයි එතන දැන් හිර වෙනවා දෙකේම උත්තර දෙකේම 2 තියෙනවා නෑ ඉතින් මේ 3 වලින් තමයි මේක තීරණය වෙන්නේ it can be used in a classes rather than limiting to a variable මට නම් තාමත් තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ හරි තේරෙන්නේම නැති නම් මම B කියලා ගන්නවා I don't know if the examiner will take D also examiner has taken E all examiner අනුව මේ දෙකත් හරි මේකත් හරි මට නම් ඒක I don't know whether it's enumeration anyway my answer is only 2 okay මට මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මේක මට හිතෙන්නේ වැරදි කියලා අපි නිකන් chat gpt එකෙන් අහලා බලමු මොනවද උත්තරේ කියලා anyway මේක නම් කොහොමත් confusing හරි chat gpt සමහරට confused වෙයි මේ wording එච්චර clear නැති යන හරි by the way my answer is only 1 okay sorry only 2 examiner's answer is all බලමු chat gpt තවත් එකක් කියන්න නැහැ මොකද මේක wordings වලට අනුව එහෙම වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් which of the following statements or let's call it abc to clarity chat gpt then එයාගෙන ඔක්කොම හරිලු. Okay. A, B, C ඔක්කොම හරිලු. So ChatGPT is with examiner now. Okay. බලමු මොකද ඇයි කියලා. It is list of name constants. List of name constants. I think the answer is referring to the values, not the variable. Because variable is not a constant because it can have this value, that value, and other value. Yeah, I think I misinterpret that. Okay. Right. So then it can have constructors, yes. So that is definitely yes, that I also took. Next one. It can be used in classes rather than limiting to a variable. What is mean by that? What is meaning of this? Enums can be used as a part of class. Yes. Or even as a parameter in a method. They are not limited to just being a variable type. Just being a variable type. I'm not very sure what is that means. Even ChatGPT has not explained it. ChatGPT has just given a code example, but coding nothing. So it has created a new enum. Okay. Let's refer to it from the method. By the way, the examiner's answer and ChatGPT's answer is anyway the same. It says ABC. Okay. I'm not very sure of how to interpret this. Maybe, right, a little bit confusing notation, words, but it makes sense. Okay. So anyway, take all three as answers. Okay. Right. 32. Select the most suitable options for filling the blanks in the following statements. Helps to embed supplemental information into a source file. We have not done annotations yet. So therefore, let's not proceed from this. Okay, so can we put 33? 34 we can do. 35 we can do. Yeah, so we can do 3 more questions anyway. But because we have not done enumerations, we'll stop at this point for the past paper discussion. Okay, so that we can continue the other topics and proceed with this. Okay. Anyway, we can do 3 more questions. And that is 33, 34, and 35, but we will not do that because we have not done annotations. Okay. So then you have maybe another few questions, right? 37, 38, 39, 40. You can see almost the paper. So I told you that the last topics, sometimes just one question from one topic. So in this paper, now remember you can do 33, you can do 34, you can do 35, 36 still we have not done, 37, 37 also you can do, right? So 38 also you can do actually. So that, right? So 39 you can't do, 40 you can't do, that is JDBC. So no question from swing, no question from UI development. But it doesn't mean that you will also get the same thing. So last year paper, right? So now almost 90% of the paper you can do. Okay, more than 90%. Okay, right. So while we do the other topics, we will proceed. Okay, right. So we'll take a break. After the break, we will move on to our next topic. Right. So generics is another programming concept. It's a supplementary to object-oriented programming, but it's not really object-oriented, but highly related to object-oriented. And this concept of generics first introduced in collection framework. Actually, we already use generics. Okay. For example, when you create a list, right? So let me do it in a practical way. right? For example, when you use collections, something like say list x equal array list. Okay, new array list. So when you create array list like this, so array list or linked list or whatever. Okay, so let's import everything. I can add any data type. For example, I can say x dot add 10. At the same time, I can say x dot add, okay, hi. So there's no type safety. Type safety. Okay. But if you want, you can use generics. But if you go to the array list class, right, and there's something like this E, so that means it support generics. It support generics. Okay. So this concept was first introduced for the collection frameworks to give type safety. For example, rather than like this, I can say list of say integers, and of course we support only integers. So then this is invalid because high is not integer. Okay. So that gives type safety. So that means when you create the array list object, you decide what is this data type that you are going to use. Now all of a sudden your add method, though it use sort of a generic type called E, when you define your E as integer, now your add method is expecting integers, though your method signature doesn't say like that. So that gives you additional opportunity to create a type safety. At the same time, you create a general code. So the user of your class decide what is the class, not you. So you defer that decision to the user rather than you take that decision. So that is the beauty of generics. Okay. Right. So how to use generics? Actually, they first introduced as a support for collections. Then they introduce it for the Java users to create their own use generics in their classes as well. Okay. Right. So this is how you use generics in your class. Okay. Say I want to create a class. Okay. I'll call it. So let's create a sort of a generic sort of a thing, our own collection. Okay. Right. So let's say I have a class called bag. So in the bag class, I will define a generic type. You can define any number of generic types. Okay. Just give different names. Okay. I'll call it say X or U. Now those who create the bag object decide what is this U type. Okay. So then I will have instance variable say of type U now. U say X. So what is the data type of U? That user will decide. That is what is my generics. Okay. Maybe I can give a method set, but the data type is U. I'll call it U. Say void set U. So there I will set your U to my X variable. Okay. Or I'll just call it U also here. Then there's a confusion. So therefore I say this dot U equal U. Similarly, I can go get method. Right away, get method. Say, so return type is now U. I just call it get, okay? And no parameter. So I will return your U variable. What is this U? Let the user decide. Okay. So this is this. And so this is a class using generics. Now when someone use, okay, let's say new class, say back test. Now let's have the main method PSVM. say bag, say B1 equal new bag. Bag. Now, if you just use it like that, how do you use the set method? Say B1 dot set, but it expect object. Object means I can set anything, like even high, or I can say 10, or I can say if I have a dog object, set the dog object. Okay, say 12.5 because I have not specified the generic type. But if you specify the generic type that the user will decide, say this is my say integer, because my back class support you to decide your type. Okay. Here also you must say the same type now, integer. Now let's say B2. Now you can see that you can set uh, maybe something like this, B2 dot set, sorry, B2 dot set, say 12. That is okay because you have specified your bag as integer bag, but not high or 12.5 because of the type safety. So my bag class support generics for one type, and this guy is not using that feature. Therefore, your data type for you is anything, but this object specifically says integer. Now you can't even keep a decimal value. So that gives better type safety. So that is how actually collection framework supported type safety. You decide the data type. For the user of the collection, you decide the data type. So similarly, if you are creating your code, sometimes you want to make your code generic. Generic means your code is more general, more reusable. But at the same time, users can restrict at the type safety at the object creation time. So that is what generics is all about. Okay, it's a very small topic. And if you want more than one generic types, you can comma and you can say there's another one V. So then user need to give two data types here, integer, comma. Remember we use that in maps, right? One for the key, one for the value. Right. Right. That's it. So any questions? I told you it's a very small topic. So this example use two types. So the user must define two uh, values, data type values. Okay, two data type values. Something like this. So then your methods will behave accordingly. Now your set text method expect integer if you set integer here. Right, your set y method will expect string if you specify string here. The parameters, return types will determine by your data type rather than our generic type. So that is the idea. Okay. So it's just a convention that we use U, V, W, and those things, right? You can use any one letter, two letter, or any meaningful name for your generic types. Okay. Right. Any questions? So if someone asks simply, what is the use of generics? When you create a class, you let the user of the class decide some data types rather than you hard code it. That is the idea behind generics, right? So let user decide these things rather than me hard coding it. So when user decide as late as possible, it's more reusable. Okay, right? So we are done with generics. So do you have any questions? And again, you can ask from ChatGPT. Now you are not alone at all, right? Use YouTube. So if you have the passion to learn, attitude, of course, anyone can learn these days. So you just need a bit of guidance. Right. So let's move to our next subtopic then. Right. Our next subtopic is annotations. Annotations. Generics, annotations. It's another very small topic. We'll finish that also, okay? Right. So let me open the note. Right. Annotations are used to provide metadata or additional details about data. Okay. Metadata or data about data. So these data can be used by different tools, your compiler, or any other runtime environment like a server. Okay. And again, Java has some built-in Java annotations as well that you can use at any time. Right? Or else you can create your own annotations and use it in your code, your tools, your frameworks, your servers, and so on. But very rarely you create your own annotations that you will do if you are developing a server, you are developing your own framework, your own tool. Usually as software developers, we use frameworks, we use servers. So therefore, most of the time we are users of annotation rather than we create annotations. But you must know the theory behind that. Maybe one day you want to develop your own framework. So then you will create your own annotations. Right? So these are some built-in Java annotations. Override, suppress warning, deprecated. Okay. So let me copy this code so that I can share it at the end of the class. Team generics. So let's move on to annotations. Okay. Right. So I'll say new Java class, a built-in annotations demo. So I will be using maybe one or two of the built-in Java annotations. For example, when you write a method, say main method PSVM. Okay, so let's write our own method. Say void foo. Okay, so some functionality. Okay, say foo. So I'll use one of the built-in annotation here. That is when you document, there's annotation called add author. Right, author. Sorry, add not author. How do you call it? Add. Yeah, add deprecated. Where is deprecated? I think yeah, deprecated. So that means don't use this method unless you want to do, you absolutely need it, because in the future we are going to remove this method. But you can just call it, no issue, because these additional details we give as a sort of a warning. So we have planned to remove this method in the future, maybe future releases. So therefore, try to use something else, a better, some other method. So that is the annotation. Okay. And another annotation is you can say overridden. So if you override a method, right, from superclass, otherwise someone will read your code. Unless that guy look at the superclass, he has no idea whether this is overridden method. So you can say ampersand override. right? Override. So likewise, so of course, this is giving error because you are not overriding a method, because you have not extended from any method, okay, any class. But if you have, say, new Java class, say bar, and if you say your foo bar class also has this method, say x, so then of course you can say you can use that annotation. Say bar class also has x method, say x in bar. I'm just showing some practical use of built-in annotations. Okay. Now, of course, I extend bar. Now you can see I have overridden because bar class also has x method. So therefore, this is definitely overriding. So now I can use the override annotation. But anyway, whether you have this annotation or not, you are overriding. But someone looking at this method clearly knows that this is overridden method because of this annotation. Okay. So clearly knows that this method should not be used in the future if you are doing a new development or something, because this is going to be removed and so on. Okay. So those are some built-in annotations. Okay. Built-in annotations in Java. So when you are developing software, then and there you will see different annotations your other software developers, team members have used, or other software frameworks have used, and so on. Okay, right. So then they introduce that let the software developers also come up with their own annotations, just like software developers come up with their own generics. So they extended it to the software developers also. First, they use it for internal purposes, like these built-in annotations we can use. But now we can create our own annotations also. Okay, own annotations. So these are some built-in annotations. Okay, suppress warning, deprecated, override. So this is how you create our own annotation. Right? So it's very easy. You just say you create a new class, but in the drop down, there's an option called annotation. And then say, I'll call it my annotation, my anno. Okay. But this is not a class, this is annotation. And you can see public ampersand interface, your name. So this is how you create annotation. And it's myano.java. Right? Myano.java. So this is you have created your own annotation. Now you can use this annotation in your code. Okay. Say, I'll call it my annotations demo. Now you can use your own annotation also. Say you have method void foo. So maybe this has some meaning. This has a meaning for your tool, your server. So that is why I told you this is advancing. Very rarely software developers create annotation. Rather, software developers mostly use annotations. But in case you want to use your annotation, this is how you do it. Now the other guy can use it. Say ampersand. Right? You can see my anno is there now. It's just like other built-in annotations. You have your own annotation, my anno. So of course, this doesn't make any sense because you are not developing a tool or something. But this is the idea. Maybe when you compile, compiler can read it. Of course, compiler is not going to read your annotation because compiler will only use built-in annotation. Maybe you create your own tool to process your source file and do something. Maybe in that program, you can read this annotation and find which method has this annotation. Then you can have your own functionality for that. But first of all, you must be able to create your own annotation, right? So it's like creating a class. You give it a name. And then the signature is something like public ampersand interface. Remember, it can be class. It can be interface. We last time discussed it can be enumeration. It can be an ampersand interface. If it is ampersand interface, it is annotation. It's not a class or interface or enum, it's an annotation. How do you know that this is annotation? Because you have the ampersand interface in the keyword. Okay. So then others can use it just like the built-in annotations. But meaning depends on your tool that you are doing, but that is beyond your syllabus. The use of annotations, your own annotations. But you must aware of this concept is there. Okay. So there are different type of annotations. One type of annotation is called mark annotation. So they don't have any methods. So they just give some meaning, right, without any serious functionality or methods. So that is why we call it mark annotation, like override. So it's maybe for just for documentation. Deprecated. So just the user must know that if it is deprecated, don't use it unless you absolutely need it. But other than that, it's no one cares about that. So those are mark annotations. They don't do any processing meaning, maybe giving some documentation purposes, giving some information to the user of your class, and that's it. But if you want to use it for processing, that your annotation and do some processing in your tools and servers and so on, make sure you have annotations with some parameters so that you can get additional details and so on. Okay. So this is how you add a parameter to your annotation. Okay. It's like a method, but actually it's a parameter. And it can have a data type also. So let's have two parameters to our annotation. You can give any name. Say this is my annotation, my anno. So let's assume my annotation has two parameters. First one is an integer parameter, second one is a string parameter. So it must be in this order, right? So now this maybe you are going to use these parameter values in your tools, servers, and so on later on. Now you can see there's error here because you are using the my_anno, but you have not provided the two parameters, two arguments. Right? So now you need to provide your arguments. First one must be integer value. Second one must be valid string. Okay. So this is how you give the values. So you can see this is when you are using. You can see value one, it's expecting integer, let's say 12. Say value two, say it's expecting a string, let's say hi. And now there's no error because I'm giving that because this annotation expect two parameters, arguments, because it has two parameters, and I'm giving the compatible type. If you just give one type, no, it's not going to work because it's expect two. Other thing is, if you want, you can give default values. So then if you don't provide that argument, the default value is considered. Okay. So how to give the default value? Something like this. You just say default, your default value. Okay. For example, you can say here, default, let's say hi. Now, if you don't give the second parameter, still it is valid now because it has a default value. But if you don't want to rely on the default value, yes, you give it. Say you say not hi, hello. Okay. Say you have another method. So let's call this bar method. So maybe you don't want to give the second one because you are happy with the first default parameter, right? So that is how you give the parameters or arguments to your annotation. If the annotation expect, right? If the annotation expect, you must provide. Okay. Right. That's it. That's it about annotations. So any questions? Any questions? Of course, if you are a tool developer, server developer, so you will writing your code to read these annotation values. For example, when someone use it, you can write your code to read these annotation values and process accordingly. That is beyond your syllabus. Your syllabus is talking only about how to use existing annotations or some useful built-in annotations, how to create your own annotation and maybe annotations with parameters, and how others use your annotation rather than how you process your annotations. How you process your annotation is beyond your syllabus. But these things are heavily used. For example, if you take web service, right? Say JAX. Okay, I will ask ChatGPT to write a sample JAX WS service. Okay. So don't worry if you don't know what is a JAX WS, it's a Java web service. Write a hello world JAX WS web service code. Okay. You will learn how to write Java web services in semester 3 because you have a subject called enterprise application development. Okay. Let's see whether this guy write it. I hope this guy can write web services. You can see it's a ampersand web service. It says that this is a web service. And here it says it's a web method. Right? So if you have this annotation only, your web server identify this as a service. Otherwise, it's a normal method. Now, when you write web services, you need to use these annotations. Again, you are user. You are not processing annotations. So that is why I told you. So normal software developers use annotations. Right? Use annotations to get things done, rather than we process these annotations. So that is why your syllabus is up to that level, because that is good enough for you. Okay. And also in semester 4, you learn in the same subject, enterprise application development, Java persistence API, mapping your class to a table, database table. Write a simple JPA, that is called Java persistence API, class mapping to table. So there are two ways you can do mapping. One is using XML, other one is using annotations. Let's see whether ChatGPT gives using annotation. Yes, you can see it says it's an entity class, and it says this is the table, and it says this is the primary key field, and it says this must be mapped to this particular column of the table, and some additional attributes. You can see parameters. Right. So these are heavily used. Heavily used. So therefore, you must know what is annotation. You give additional details about your data. Right. So yes, it says just a username, but you are providing additional name. This must be mapped to the username table. Null values are not allowed. Right. So now I hope you have better understanding about what are annotations. Okay. Right. So let me copy that code also. So I'm just doing the minimum that you need. Okay, I'm not doing additional things. 16 annotations. I will share the code at the end of the class. Okay. Right. So that is another 2 topics. Okay. IO stream topic is little bit bigger. So therefore we will do it. IO streams and applets, and possibly we will start UI development also in the next class.